Now let's get into the crux of the day with this update. Now the girl child is faced with a lot of challenges in today's world. Cultural practices, poverty, early marriage are some of the barriers against girl child education. Now more than ever, it has become important to create safe and accessible learning spaces and an enabling environment for girls. Global Goal 4 aims to ensure inclusive and equitable quality education for all, especially girls and women by 2030. How can Nigeria ensure that it achieves this? This is a big question on the mind of every girl in Nigeria and maybe on the African continent. So to talk about this, I have child rights advocate Tessie Biobaku here in the studio. Tessie, good morning.
Good morning.
And it's good to have you live in the studio today. We've always had you on Skype and virtually. Yeah. Welcome to Lagos.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to TVC.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on board.
Very good. You're welcome. Now, let's begin with, I'd like to start with the global goal. Now, by 2030, it is expected that we should be able to achieve something where girls are moved, or females, they are moved from where they have been to a level where there's some level of standard of equity, you know, side by side with the male child. Well, how close to or how far are we from achieving this goal from what you see where we are right now?
Well, I think to an extent we're beat very far from achieving that goal, because when you talk about education, you're talking about training the minds of every child, especially the girl child to an extent. The socio-cultural value places them at a disadvantage. They are kind of marginalized because of some religious belief and cultural values. But to an extent, I know that right now the awareness, the sensitivity that comes with understanding that the girl child needs to be educated, to let them have the knowledge, to give them the independency, to acquire skills, to discover themselves, goes a long way. And that's why there is need, not just to improve the education of the girl child, there is need for us to identify those things that hinders the need for us to achieve these things. If the things that, you know, if factors that hinders the education of the girl child is so much that is not being taken care of, then we can't achieve that purpose.
Exactly. That's the crux I want to ask next, because when it comes to what are those factors, if we're talking about the education of the girl child, what are those things that really draw the girl back and prevent her from achieving what she's supposed to achieve?
A lot. For now, we're talking about, let's just narrow it down to the reality. Right. We're looking at a lot of schools where you have the girl child, most especially, being targeted, kidnapped, and all that. And then we have this belief about, you know, when it comes to even, as it might look as if it's not a big deal, the girl child is caught up with, she's the one that has to take care of maybe things at home, she has to be caught up with a lot of activities that it looks as if, you know, a male, the male child it shouldn't be, you know. It places them at a point where it looks as if they're not so relevant in terms of intellectual capability and ability.
And being out there. Now, the point there is, when it comes to parents, because if you're talking about the home, the parents are the first leaders that, you know, children look up to. Should we say that maybe parents still don't understand the realities of what these things are? Because some of the little things that we're talking about, okay, fine, there's a girl child, there's a boy child, and then the girl has to, okay, fine, wash the plate, just help us wash the plate and ensure that you sweep the ground and ensure that you clean this and ensure that you wash that, and then the boy is outside playing somewhere. Yeah. Is that really where it starts from? Because it's a thing of the mind.
Yeah, it actually starts really, like you said, from the home. So we must have that change, you know, that mindset shift from looking at the girl child as being, she has to be the one in particular to do this, because that's part of what is affecting the society. You find that even when the girl child, you know, becomes that woman, and the boy child that is left to go and play ball, feeling like, no, it's not his duty, the same thing plays out probably when the boy child gets married, the girl child gets married. Then we get caught up with all these things that comes with domestic violence. It comes up with a lot of maybe when you keep someone to be like, is like my mindset, I'm idle. I'm looking for something to do.
To feel it.
To feel it. So you see where, that's why we're having a lot of things that has to do with even sexual molestations, sexual assaults with regards to the girl child. Now, the mindset, that's why education plays a great role. Because if you have a girl child that is well educated, well informed, to an extent, she'll be able to bring up her children to understand that there are certain things that shouldn't be done. Actually, letting them understand that as a boy child, the girl child is not meant to be like an object of toy. Letting the girl child also understand that she's unique, she's important, you know, she's not one to be toyed with. Build the confidence of the girl child. And how do you build the confidence? By being knowledgeable, which comes with education.
Right.
By knowing that, you know, when you are educated, you can harness your potential to be that person, not just, you know, I mean, it's not about looking at the girl child to say, okay, tomorrow she will be, to become a good mother and a good wife, to become a great mentor, one that can be part of the impact that the society needs.
Right. So it's not just about grooming the young girl to hand her over from her dad to her husband, but just to be a wholesome personality in the society. Now, let's talk about the realities. You mentioned realities earlier on. Let's come down to the issue of culture and religion. These are phenomenon that we are very enmeshed in Africa. We are very, you know, we bond very much with our cultures, we bond very much with religion. How are these helping or compounding the situation?
Well, first, the bonding aspect is a great advantage, it's a nice thing. But it also plays a disadvantage in the sense that we become sentimental with a lot of things. You know, yesterday there was this news with regards to the guy that molested, raped a year, 3-month-old child. Now, when we bring up children, and especially when it comes to even the girl child being violated, molested, you find that most times they are the close family members. Where we feel, no, let's leave it. Let's, you know, religiously we might feel, no, it's the work of the devil.
So
and then we don't bring the children up to understand that they must face the consequences. In facing the consequences, the dynamism now that comes with the family, bonding and all that becomes, no, don't do that, don't speak out. You know, embracing the silence culture that needs to be broken.
All right. Now, we've spoken to some people sometimes regarding this, where there seem to be the clash between westernization and our cultures, where it seems that we're still caught up in the middle somewhere as to what is westernization, what is civilization, and what is our culture. How do we reconcile that mix where our cultures give roles to ladies, give roles to men, give roles to children and parents and all of that. But in the Western culture where you have your rights, and so you should do some things, you have the freedom to do some things. So there seems to be some clash of the West and also the African culture. How do we reconcile that to keep the home front safe?
I think the thing is we need to strike that balance. Our culture is a fantastic one.
All right.
Is one that embraces a lot of values in terms of respect and all that. But then the balance now is, you know, when people speak out, it looks as if maybe you're a bad person and all that. That's why education, I'll still bring it down to education, plays a great role. If you're well informed, you are empowered to understand, to strike that balance.
All right. Well, we're still going to be here talking about this until people begin to understand how to strike that balance. Thank you so much, Tesi Biobaku, for coming on the program.
Thank you very much for having me on board.
And we hope to see you again.